My hands were just around the neck.
Just around it, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I squeezed on the side. I felt like I knew. At first, I didn't know what I was doing, but I felt like I knew what I was doing.
You just basically were putting a lot of pressure, mostly around the neck.
Yeah, like on the sides and.
You can grab again if it helps you.
On the sides and then my thumb.
Mm-hmm.
So first on the side until she passed out, and then thumb pushing down.
On May 4th, 2020, an extremely confused man, Leo Driver, walked into the Seattle Police Department's East Precinct. He came to the station to confess to murder he committed 5 years ago, that too in a diluted state. But instead of providing him with mental health assistance, he was taken in for interrogation. His confusion led to reopening a 5-year-old solved case of Elizabeth Wright, who he claimed was his girlfriend at the time. On March 11, 2015, Elizabeth's body was found on the stairway of a 19th Avenue Seattle apartment building. At that time, it was closed as a drug overdose. But during the murder and while confessing, Leo had been actively diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. So the whole confession was recorded at the time of mental distress. To understand what really goes on inside the mind of a schizophrenic patient, we have created a simulation that might help you grasp his state better. The video contains auditory hallucinations, which were the major symptoms that Leo Driver faced as well.
Where did you bring us now?
Where are we? Let's go back.
Go back, go back.
You're dumb.
We can still go. Let's go. I don't like this.
Is she following us?
I don't
Kill
like
her.
this.
Are we getting
Look,
caught?
she just laughed at you.
No,
You're a joke.
no.
Slow down.
Get us out of
Why
here.
Pick
did
it
she
up.
do that?
Take
Did
it
she know us?
Please.
and run.
I want to
Pick
go
it up.
home.
Please stop.
Let's go.
No. Wait.
I don't like
Wake
this.
up.
Let's go.
Wake up.
I don't like this.
With the help of this simulation, we want to enable you to perceive the world the way Leo Driver does, and as you watch along, you'll see him hallucinating while in the interrogation room, and a very unforeseen twist towards the end.
Hey, Leo. How was the sandwich?
Awesome.
Was it okay? It's probably gross. You don't have to lie if it was gross. Have you met Jeff? He's Jeff Mudd. He's a detective. So we're not shaking hands because of the COVID thing. And so, thank you for your patience. I know that you had your Miranda rights read to you before, but we're going to read them to you again. I'm going to say the time. You remember this room's audio and video recorded, right?
Yes.
So it's Tuesday, May 5th, 2020, 3:16 a.m. now.
Leo Driver is deeply suffering from schizophrenia, which impacts every aspect of his life. In a diluted state, he had already confessed to his crimes, but he has been taken into custody again because at that time he seemed in a very tense and diluted state. There was a possibility that it was a false confession made under mental duress, or possibly psychosis. He is being questioned again, this time with audio and video recording. The case you'll see today is sensitive. His diagnosis makes him a tough subject to interrogate. The detectives will have to talk to him in the utmost regard of his mental condition.
So, Jeff and I work, we're detectives with Seattle Police, and we don't know a whole lot about the circumstances of tonight other than we were told that you walked into the East Precinct and you reported that you had killed Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And so the thing that I want to ask you is just make sure that if you decide that you want to talk to us and tell us what happened, that you just are very complete and honest with us, because we want to understand everything. So why don't you just start at why don't we get a little bit of background information first, okay? Who is Elizabeth Wright to you? Was she your girlfriend?
The fact that Leo came forward with his crimes after 5 years introduces some more challenges. The whole interrogation focuses on finding consistencies and discrepancies between the evidence from the crime scene and the statement of Leo. Because of Leo's diagnosis, detectives are unsure about his confession. Even after a full confession, he's not being completely considered as the perpetrator. The case had already been closed as a drug overdose, so according to the detectives, there's less possibility of the case being a homicide. However, they still investigate it as a possibility.
She was ex-girl.
Okay. How long had you guys dated?
On and off, 6 years.
That's a long time. Were you guys living together?
No. I mean, not this last time when I went back to her. Yeah, we were living together, but before it was on and off.
Okay. And where were you guys living at the time that she died? Do you remember the address?
We were homeless. Yes, we were homeless, and sometimes we'd be staying at my parents' or my parent place. My mother,
And what's mom's name?
Jacqueline.
Okay, Jacqueline.
Yeah, Jacqueline.
Okay. And so I have an address of 1823 East Madison as associated with you sometimes. Is that where mom lives or lived at the time?
She used to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she used to stay there.
And on the day that Elizabeth died, were you guys staying at that address or where
No.
were you?
We were out. Shoplifting.
Okay.
Well, not shoplifting. Well, we were hanging out, and yeah, we decided to stop by
Okay.
this place.
So I know it's been 5 years since Elizabeth passed away. Why don't you just start at the beginning and tell us everything from start to finish that you remember about that day? Just go through the whole thing, and I'll try not to interrupt you, and just run through everything that happened. Even if it's hard to talk about, take your time, okay?
Okay.
So like maybe start off with if you remember about when it was. Records show that it was in March, on March 11th. 2015, if you remember what time of day or what, and just say who you were with and what happened.
We were together. We were coming from somewhere. I don't remember. We were coming from somewhere. I can't hardly think of. We were coming from somewhere. My thoughts are messed up.
Okay, where were you when things started? When there started to be a problem, where were you guys at?
We were coming from downtown. We're coming from someplace, either a motel or the some
By now, you may have noticed the awkwardly long pauses in Leo's speech and body language. This is happening due to one very common symptom of schizophrenia called negative symptoms. He's showing two specific conditions here. Firstly, alogia, where a person shows no emotions whatsoever when they're talking about emotional thing. And secondly, affective flattening, which is characterized by the monotone speech he's maintained from the start.
I got a phone call from my mother. From the beginning,
Well, just kind of when things started with you and Elizabeth. So were you at your mom's place? Is that where you were? I don't know.
No.
And when I say when things started, I mean when she died. I kind of want to know where you were and how that whole thing started.
I am on medication, but
yeah, I understand.
Sorry for the drowsiness. Well, it's complete. So
Do you remember what it was that you told the officers up at the East Precinct? Why don't we start with that? What did you tell them?
I just confused. But well, what happened was that I took I didn't take anything. I I um grabbed. We walked. We I can't even. Wow. Am I?
Being a follower of this channel, it may have been noticed that the cases presented here have covered some of the best detective work. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about today's case. The female detective has already started fidgeting and could be seen growing impatient with Leo's slow responses. Here, Leo also tries to convey that he's under the influence of drugs, which are potentially his medications, and yet the detectives do not stop here. It's basic protocol to not take a confession while a person may be at full mental capacity. The person who takes this interview should be a person who is well versed with all mental health protocols, or at least a mental health professional should have been present at the time. This is being completely ignored here.
We were coming from. We were coming from someplace, either motel or downtown, and we came to this.
So you ended up at your mom's apartment building or condo? Is it a condo or an apartment? Okay. So you ended up there.
Yeah, just start from what happened when you got to your mom's apartment.
There's an argument.
There was an argument?
I was trying to. I mean, it's mostly it's not my fault. I should have never introduced her to my family. I should have never came back to her. It's I mean,
Did your mom and Elizabeth not get along?
I I made it. I they my mother she's worried about me. And,
On looking carefully, it could be seen that Leo's condition is getting worse. One particular time he says that we cannot do this. With the use of we as the pronoun, we can assume that maybe he's starting to have some auditory hallucinations. It's common in schizophrenia patients to have multiple voices speak at the same time. But even after seeing this, the detectives completely disregard his condition. They do not even address this with a follow-up question or concern, or ask if he's feeling okay enough to go on with the interrogation. As an onlooker, it's so obvious that Leo is in no shape to answer. He cannot even answer yes and no questions, and makes hand gestures that suggest he truly is trying to answer the questions. But he's still being made to confess.
you know, I accused her of cheating. My girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, I accused her of cheating. I would see images of her doing that in my head. Maybe I could have maybe imagined it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe not. And I was. She was just worried. My mother was worried. And something was going on. I don't know what happened between the two, but it ended up being her standing over my mother with a face like, you know, she owns her. And I ended up.
It's always unfortunate to hear about the loss of a life. However, as humans, we always try to make sense of things. We always look for answers and ask why things happen so as to cope with them. But that kind of closure is not going to happen here. Elizabeth lost her life because of Leo's untreated mental illness. Leo had been seeing pictures of Elizabeth cheating on him, but they were his hallucinations. He was in such a bad state that he could not tell imagination apart from reality. This triggered him even more when Elizabeth was in a confrontation with Jacqueline. That fight was the last straw which drew Leo to kill Elizabeth.
You killed her for that? How did you kill her?
I strangled her. Well, not strangled, but I put my hand around her neck. And I don't understand.
Leo, where were you when you killed her?
I was there. I mean, I was standing in the doorway, and
In the doorway of the apartment or the doorway of someplace else?
at the apartment.
Okay.
Standing in the doorway, and it was. I felt that, like, people were trying to I don't know, like people were trying to kill her in the first place or try to get rid of her, I think. I had that feeling because, you know, she called the police or on saying people were attacking her. And but I was I wouldn't
Schizophrenia is one of the worst mental illness diagnoses a person could end up with, and there are types to it. Some are worse than the others. The type that Leo suffers with is called paranoid schizophrenia. In this condition, his hallucinations and delusions make him skeptical of all things. For example, a person with a similar diagnosis would believe that people are trying to assassinate him by adding poison to his food. The most extreme reactions recorded have been giving up food until starving to death. In Leo's case, he was paranoid that people wished to harm his family. Elizabeth's confrontation with Jacqueline was received so poorly in his brain that the only solution that remained was to kill her.
Let me ask you this. Were you guys facing each other standing up or sitting down or laying down or something else? When this happened, tell me about your position of your bodies.
I was standing in the doorway.
Okay.
I was standing straight. And my mother was sitting down. Like this. And I called my ex-girlfriend Lizzie. I called her Lizzie. Was standing over her. And a face like that she was like nothing. Like my mother was nothing. Yeah, that was confirmation for me. Confirmation, and I killed her.
Okay.
I killed her after that, you know.
Okay. Was your mom there when you killed her?
No, I was in the staircase.
Okay, you were in the staircase when you killed her?
Yeah, so we left the apartment,
Okay.
walked down the staircase to the fourth floor, and sat there for a minute, and that's when I killed her.
Okay, when you guys were sitting, were you sitting down when you killed her?
No, she was sitting, we were both sitting, I stood up, got in front of her, and then.
I know it's hard to talk about, but explain to me what you did with your hands, like very specifically. Show me on your own neck if you can, or where you pressed.
So, like, I had like my hands like this.
Okay.
And then, like I had the side, both sides were.
It might be hard to do it on yourself. Maybe you could do it on the table, like pretend that the table
Grab
is.
one of the water balloons.
Yeah.
So like that, and I would squeeze. It was kind of odd because at first I was at first I kind of like I didn't know what I was doing. Like I didn't know how. I didn't want to choke her. Like choke. I didn't want to hear that. And but it's like I had her by the either cut off the blood supply to her neck, or to her head, and she passed out. And then I started to feel like I knew what I was doing. You know, like I pressed down on her windpipe.
So when you first started, where were you when you first started?
It was I applied pressure on the sides of her neck.
Okay, and
on both sides of her neck.
she passed out.
She stopped moving. Her eyes were open, but she stopped moving.
And then after she stopped moving, how long do you think that you held on after she stopped moving?
Windpipe, like maybe a minute, I think. Well, yeah, I think it was a while. I wanted to after when I jumped on her at that point, I wanted to make sure she was dead.
Was
I just
she,
thought if I killed her, everything would go away, you know?
was she sitting on the stairs at that point? Like would she have had a stair behind her, or was she like
Yes,
flat on the
yes.
ground? She's,
Stare behind her head.
okay. And when you first started touching her neck, how did she react? Did she try to stop you, or was there a fight?
No, she didn't struggle. She was in shock. I think she was in shock. She couldn't believe I was doing that. And,
Did she do anything to try to get your hands
No,
away, or?
she just kind of like grabbed my, I forgot what I had, but she grabbed my, my
Jacket, shirt, some item of
It
clothes?
wasn't a hard grab. It wasn't a hard grab. It was, she didn't even attach herself to my I don't know if I was carrying a bag, so she kind of like softly tried to grab my bag. This is
Did you pass out pretty quickly, or did it take a while?
she passed out. She passed out.
So she passed out.
Very, not that quick. I think it was quick. Well,
Try to do me a favor.
yes.
Do it again on the water bottle, and try to do it for as long as it happened in real life, like to show us how much time went by before and tell us when she passed out.
What do you want? I'm sorry.
Just to see how long it took her to pass out. Try to hold on the water bottle and just kind of let the same amount of time go by that you think it took, and then tell me when she passed out.
Well, I held on to the bottle. I mean,
Her neck.
to her neck, and then like I was holding on the. So I was holding on the sides. I don't want to. Those are my. Yeah, I was holding on to it. To her neck. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes.
1 or 2 minutes. Yeah. Okay, you can stop. And then did you let go and change wear, or did you keep hanging on?
I squeezed down on a windpipe.
And when you say windpipe, where do you mean? Show me on your neck.
Throat.
Right in the
Where
middle.
the oxygen is. Well, I believe the oxygen was going.
And did you press or squeeze or something else?
I pressed. Like I closed my whole hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so you said that you kept squeezing to make sure she was dead because you thought that everything would go away if she died, right?
Yes.
Did you do anything else to her body after she was passed out?
No. I just grabbed the purse and her cell phone. And, that's it.
You took her purse and her cell phone?
Yeah.
Did you take those things with you?
I took it with me and threw it away. I didn't want to. I took all their cards out, so just in case somebody found it.
For a moment, try to be in the shoes of the detective on the case here. Would it be sensible to interrogate Leo in the same way? The way the detectives are acting looks like they do not even seem to notice that he has a problem. A suspect, however violent or vile, still needs to be given assistance and treated with empathy if they are in distress. But that is not the case here. Yes, the detectives have at least done a decent job trying to maintain a soft tone with Leo, but that's not enough in this case.
I wasn't all there that day too, so I decided I didn't want to use. It was a broken crack pipe, and I didn't want to use that on her. And then I did put the pipe away and I strangled her.
Okay, so did you ever end up doing anything to her with the broken crack pipe, or you just?
No, I didn't stab her or nothing
Okay.
like that.
Why did you bring that up to the officer? Was it something you were thinking about? And you did,
It's
because you
just-
said I didn't want to use it on her.
It's every detail. I'm just trying to explain what I did.
Okay, so were you guys smoking crack before this happened?
We did that. We were smoking crack. We were doing one, but not prior to all that. Yeah, we did. Well, I can't say. I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay,
But we were getting high every day,
okay.
so it's a possibility. But it was really weird that because before going there, I was thinking, because it says, we're on the metro, and it says, I didn't mention this to the other cop. We're on metro, and when the bus stops at the stop, it says, Hearing, Speech, and Deafness Center. And I used that situation to think because in my psychosis, if somebody says that means you can't see anything, hear anything, or say anything.
Okay.
And I mean, I realize now I'm just a simple person. I don't have powers like that. But at the time, it felt like, because I already had started thinking about killing her. It didn't go off on a whim. I didn't just do it. I was thinking about killing her because it wouldn't be for I mean, she can't. I mean, I don't see her as like a ringleader for anything, but she definitely manipulated the situation. I mean,
How much time went by between the time that she was standing over your mom, looking at your mom like she was nothing, and the time that you killed her? Was that like the same day, or days later, or weeks later, something else?
Leo admits to using drugs regularly with Elizabeth. Research has shown that prolonged use of hard drugs contributes to many mental health conditions. It can also worsen the existing conditions. A lot of the problems that Leo faced may have been negatively affected by schizophrenia. These effects are also what caused the rationale behind the murder. Leo had already decided to kill Elizabeth. Detectives try to understand the motive, but what Leo has to say is beyond the understanding of detectives.
sorry, explain again.
How much time went by between when she stood over your mom and looked at her like she was nothing,
Okay.
and the time that you killed Lizzie? Because I'm just confused if it was the same day or different days.
Same day.
It was the same day.
Yeah, it was like it was like they were talking. She said something about. My mother said something about she can't see or something, and then after I went over there to I think I went over there to stop her, like try to stop the confrontation, and that look she made was confirmation for me that she had something to do with it, and so then I no, I did use that stuff.
Well,
Sorry.
that's okay. When did you decide that you were going to kill Lizzie?
That day, when this when we, when I heard that, hearing speech and deafness.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was that when you were on the bus?
Yes.
And was that on the way to your mom's?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So tell me if I got this right and correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
You decided to kill her on the way to your mom's before, or you were thinking about killing her before she had the confrontation with your mom. Is that right? Because you saw the hearing, speech, and deafness sign on the bus.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Is that right, that you started thinking about killing her then?
Yeah, when I heard that hearing speech and deafness center. Yeah.
Okay, and so then when you got to your mom's, there was a confrontation, and you said that was confirmation for you.
The facial expression that Lizzie made, that was confirmation for me.
And what was it confirmation of?
That the way she looked at her, like she was in control. That I mean, I could be wrong, but it was confirmation. The look was like I dominated you, like she could do anything to her, you know.
And you
like,
said,
there was no like the way she was disgusted at her, you know.
Hallucinations and delusions can be called a twisted form of our deepest desires. We all imagine things that would make our world better, easier, or ideal for us to live in. And while for most, it may be to get a job, be surrounded by friends, for Leo, this is not the case. He saw a confrontation between his mother and his girlfriend, and even if in the purest form, the thought may have been that it would be ideal if they got along. His condition twisted it into something much more vile. He started seeing Elizabeth as a threat he needed to eliminate, and so he acted upon that.
so Leo, tell me about your mental health diagnosis. You talked about having a psychosis. What have you been diagnosed with? Is it schizophrenia, bipolar, depression, something else? Paranoid schizophrenia. And when were you diagnosed with that? Like back then when this happened, had you already been diagnosed?
When I came back to her last, so a couple months after.
A couple months after she died?
No, after I got back with her.
A couple months after you got back with her?
Yeah.
Do you remember when that was?
So, 2000.
She died in March of 2015.
2 months. 2 months? She, so I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia after I met with her. So when I was working, maybe a month or two, I started seeing things after I was with her.
After you were with her, and you said that you dated her for 6 years?
On and off 6 years.
On and off, okay. So, but you said it was after you got back with her. So do you remember about how long before she died that you had been diagnosed?
Another obvious schizophrenia characteristic that Leo is showing is disorganized speech. Two specific traits are 1, losing association where he is rapidly shifting between topics with no connections between topics, and secondly, perseveration, where he repeats the same things over and over again. This is the first time the detective has actually asked about his diagnosis. Up until this point, his mental condition was being considered as a secondary factor. They did not try to design the interrogation to swiftly question him. But by this time, they've realized that they need to understand more about his diagnosis to be able to get some answers.
Do you remember what year you were diagnosed as being schizophrenic? It's okay if you don't remember.
I'm thinking.
Okay.
You said you were seeing things because of your schizophrenia. Were you seeing things the day she died?
Were you on medication on the day that Lizzie died? Had a doctor given you medication for your schizophrenia?
At that time it was
Pardon? Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you. So the question was, were you taking meds at the time that Lizzie died?
don't remember. I don't remember.
Okay. Are you taking medication now?
I'm on medication.
What do you take now?
I take Cogentin.
Say that again? Cogentin?
Cogentin.
Cogentin?
Yes.
And is that for schizophrenia?
Yeah. No, that's for muscle relaxer.
That's a muscle relaxer. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you take any medication for your schizophrenia?
Consta.
Say that again?
Consta.
Consta.
Yeah, just, twice a week injection.
There are many psychological disorders that are manageable without pharmaceutical interventions. However, schizophrenia cannot be controlled without medications. For the same purpose, patients are put on very heavy antipsychotic drugs, like Risperdal Consta. These help in reducing the symptoms like hallucinations and paranoia, but drastically affect the mental state of a person. Being on such medication feels equal to being dizzy under morphine.
Oh, it's an injection twice a week. Where do you get your mental health care? Do you go to Sound Mental Health or Harborview or somewhere else? Sound Mental Health.
Yes.
Okay. What's the name of your doctor?
Arica.
Arica?
Yeah.
Does it start with an A or an O or?
Arica. I think.
Okay. Is it a man or a woman? A woman. Okay. And you get injections twice a week. Have you been being good about getting those injections?
Yes.
When's the last time that you had one?
2 weeks ago.
If the detectives had not realized until this point that Leo was not in the state to make a confession, this should have been the biggest clue. He confesses that he has not taken his medication for almost 2 weeks now. Detectives are shocked as well when they hear it, but they still choose to carry on. It would be understood later in the video as to why this was a mistake. And this was the point at which they could have prevented it.
So are you behind in getting them if you're supposed to take them every two times a week? And you last got it 2 weeks ago? Did you miss your appointment?
No.
Okay, so you got your shot when you were supposed to get your shot?
I didn't miss much.
Do you go the same day every week?
I go there to the same place.
And what day do you get your shot?
Um, I go twice a week. I'm sorry, it's been a long day, long week.
Yeah, I get it.
Um,
I'm just trying to find out if you're on track with your medication or if you missed a dose.
no, I did miss a dose. I had a shot.
Okay, that's good. And then does that help you to think more clearly when you get the medication?
Yes. No. No. Yeah. It helps. I, my thoughts, this is like my thought, I feel like I'm being blocked, like, what my thoughts being blocked. Um, it, it's just like it works.
It works,
Yeah.
okay. And while we've talked tonight, or I guess it's this morning, it's early morning hours, have you understood the questions we've asked you? Has our conversation made sense?
In a way, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure. I try to help.
If you follow similar content, you may have seen that many criminals plead insanity when they want a reduced sentence, but these are the people that it is supposed to truly protect. Whether Leo committed the murder or not, he's clearly not in the right mind to share that at the moment. It's also incredibly plausible that he was in the same state or worse when the incident happened. But do you think the law is protecting the one that actually needs protection? Or cases like his are conveniently overlooked?
You've been doing a good job explaining things to us. Is there anything that I have said to you or asked you that you haven't understood?
No.
Okay. And is the stuff that you told us about what happened with Lizzie, is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about what happened with Lizzie that is important for us to know? And I guess one thing I didn't ask you, before you killed Lizzie, were you guys or did she do anything to you? Did she assault you or attack you or do anything like that? Or was it just kind of like you said, you stood up and decided to strangle her?
To me.
So you didn't get hurt?
No. Nothing happened to me.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel like when I'm having psychosis, like when I have psychosis, I felt like I was, there are voices saying, remember. I have to remember something.
And is that happening now, or was it happening that day?
No, I'm just confused. I'm very confused.
What are you confused about?
Just,
This interrogation, even though long, does not deserve to have any parts to be skipped. A disorder is not only its high points at which a person looks insane, their day-to-day lives feel like this.
Okay. And where's your mom live now?
she's dead.
Oh, I'm sorry. She passed away.
Yeah.
When did she pass away?
19th, 2017.
Okay. How did she die? Was she sick or?
She had a heart attack.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what was told to yeah.
That's what they told you that she died from. Did she die at home or in the hospital or something?
She died in Germany.
Oh, what was she doing in Germany?
Well, she went back to Germany. And I guess she was wanted to stay. She moved from Virginia to Germany, and that's where she died.
Was your mom German?
Yes.
Is that your dad was in the army?
Yes.
Okay. Is your dad still alive?
No, he passed away a long time ago.
Okay. Were your parents divorced, or did they raise you together?
Raised us together till I was, 14, I think, and then we separated.
Okay. And you said something about a sister. How many do you have brothers and sisters? What have you got? One
I
sister?
have a sister and a brother.
A sister and a brother. Are they in Seattle?
My sister's in Olympia, and my brother is in Seattle.
Okay. Can we get their names? We're not going to call them, but sometimes it's nice for us to have like emergency contacts for people. What's your sister's name?
Tova.
Say that?
Tova.
Tova? T-O-V-A?
Yeah.
And what's her last name?
Driver.
Oh, same as you. Do you know what her date of birth is?
May 3rd. May 3rd. May 2nd. May 2nd. May 2nd, 1995, I think.
Do you know her phone number by heart or no?
No.
Yeah, nobody knows numbers. What's your brother's name?
Edmund Driver.
Edmund Driver. And where's he live?
He's in Harborview right now.
Oh, he's in Harborview?
Yeah.
What's wrong with him?
He's they moved him from the nursing home to there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to Harborview. Yes.
Is he sick or does he have an injury?
They didn't. They moved him from the nursing home to another nursing home.
Got it.
They didn't want him there.
And this is your brother we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so because he's kind of young to be in a nursing home, right?
Well, that's all they
Pardon?
that's all they can do.
Oh, okay.
I mean they
What's his condition? Like, what's wrong with him that he needs to be in a nursing home?
Friedrich's ataxia.
Okay,
It's Friedrich's ataxia.
I don't know what that is.
Well, it's kind of like muscular dystrophy.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Sounds like you've had a rough time with some stuff in your family.
Yeah.
Family dynamics play a huge role in the maintenance and recovery of a schizophrenic patient. Maintaining a healthy family environment for such a person can be challenging at times, but it's necessary. However, Leo did not have that luxury even before he got his diagnosis. His drug history, his onset of schizophrenia, along with his family conditions truly left him vulnerable. No matter what his situation was, it still does not justify the murder of a young girl. However, do we fully understand everything about him? We cannot perceive his actions from the same glasses that we use for a person without these mental challenges.
Sorry.
No, not at all. Thank you for reading. We just have like one or two follow-up questions, and then we want to discuss having you sign a release. And you don't have to do that, but we'll talk about it. You said that if you had not brought Lizzie around, Tova would be in a much better spot. So what explain that? Like, what's your concern about Tova?
It's my sister.
Yeah, but how did bringing Lizzie around put her in a bad spot?
She to take revenge on me. She's at the time when she met my sister. My sister was young, beautiful. The way she looked at her was like not like in a sexual way, but she looked like a predator. As soon as she gave my sister that phone, everything went to hell. I mean, I never hanged out downtown. A lot of people that hang out downtown were showing up.
Okay. So Lizzie gave your sister a phone?
Yes.
Okay. And then your sister got in with a bad crowd, sounds like maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Tova was at the apartment that day when Lizzie was found. Was Tova there before you killed Lizzie? Like, do you remember seeing her that day?
I remember seeing her, but I remember seeing her.
Okay, that's all
I
right.
remember seeing her.
Have you and Tova ever talked about this?
No.
Did Lizzie have one cell phone or more than one cell phone? Okay. And you took it away from her body, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. All right, do you remember what it looked like?
There was a flip phone, flip phone.
Okay, and did you have a cell phone at that time?
I don't know. I don't remember. No, I don't think so.
And I guess you told us why you took like her credit cards and stuff out of her purse, but why did you take her cell phone?
Well, because I was, my mother told me before I left, she said, call me, if you're never coming back, call me.
If you're never coming back, call me. Okay.
And, so, I mean, I'm not putting both of them together, like it's related to the murder or not, me killing her, but I just associate the two.
Okay.
Like I thought it has something to do with like a coincidence, but I saw it as a message or something.
Okay. That your mom said that to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Delusions are false beliefs that are not based on realities. Things that we believe in are what affect our actions, and unfortunately, Leo saw a villain in the face of Elizabeth Wright. He saw someone who was threatening his mother and had been a bad influence in his sister's life, and killing her was his way for an intervention.
All right. Check any other questions? So I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to let you read this. But this is a form for people to say, yes, it's okay for the police to get my medical records. And in this case, medical and mental health records. And this is not something you have to sign. It's completely up to you. But we'd like to have the opportunity to, if we go to a doctor or we go to like your mental health person and say, we want to talk to you about Leo, they would say, we can't talk to you unless he has signed a release. So that's why we're interested in asking for permission both to get some records in writing and to talk to them, okay?
The case itself does not have a legitimate standing. Even though Leo came forward with his crimes, it can easily be argued that he is not of sound mind, and thus he shall not be prosecuted for killing Elizabeth Wright. Right to privacy is every citizen's right. It's protected under the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, or HIPAA, which is a federal law that protects sensitive patient health information from being disclosed without the patient's consent or knowledge. They are here reading the release form to Leo to gain his permission to access his medical and mental records for further investigation.
Change of plans, Leo. Okay, this wasn't our idea, this is our boss. Okay. The doctor that worked on Lizzie after she was dead, okay, is gonna be in the office and within like an hour. Are you okay hanging out here for an hour until we can talk to the doctor, and then maybe we can get you to jail later? Maybe not.
Yeah. We actually need you to stay until we talk to the doctor, okay? Is that okay?
Yeah.
And if you want to I know it's hard to get comfortable in here, but don't feel like you have to stay awake. If you want to put your head down on the table and take a nap, you can do that. Okay?
Yeah.
You need something.
We've had people lay down on the floor and go to sleep. I mean, I know it's not comfortable and it's gross down there, but whatever you need to do to get comfortable, just all right.
Do you need to use the bathroom, or would you want something else to drink?
I'm okay.
Okay, so it'll be like an hour, so it's going to be kind of a good amount of time. But we'll watch, and if you need something, just wave your arms, and we'll come check on you. Okay. Otherwise, we'll let you just kind of rest. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Leo.
Leo has been informed that the medical examiner who was assigned to the case 5 years ago has now said that strangulation is consistent with the evidence. Now, Leo would have to show how he committed the crime in order to confirm if he's the killer. He now waits for another hour until the examiner arrives. In the following clip, you would also see how this triggered him emotionally and made his state worse. He would now begin to have really bad hallucinations.
Can I get something to eat? You gotta copy me, you punk? No, you're a punk. No, for real, you're a punk. You're a nobody. You gotta copy me. You can't be your own person. Hello? Why can't I?
It's depressing to look at a person riddled with hallucinations like that. One of the distinctive symptoms of schizophrenia are hallucinations. In the case of Leo, he got both auditory and visual hallucination. Auditory hallucinations mean that he hears a voice or multiple voices in a manner that feels that someone is around. These are involuntary and out of his control. During the bout of his visual hallucinations, he sees people along with disturbing and adulterous images of his girlfriend. The world from his perspective is a disturbing place.
Okay, Leo, this is the last thing, I promise. This is Dr. Herrick. Dr. Herrick is the King County Medical Examiner, and
Hi, Leo.
he's the person who examined Lizzie after she died to kind of figure out how she died. And he was in the other room watching, but he couldn't see very well. And so he's asked if you would be willing to maybe show again while he can see, and we'll take a couple pictures. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
To help him understand. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I'm
So we're gonna- and Dr.
Dr.
Herrick
Richard Hariff. Sorry to
And we're going to put it on the table.
put you through this again. You did a nice demonstration. For,
He did. He just couldn't see very well. So let's. How do we had it on? Is it better if she faces the dummy faces you? Does that make it better or not? Because we want you to be able to. So just you can set that wherever. Just show you, Hedger. And you move the dummy how you need to show. Do you? Because you said you pushed her back. So why don't we go ahead? Since you pushed her back, why don't we push her back? We'll take a couple pictures. So just hold that. And can you get Jeff? We can move out of the way.
Okay, you looking for the straight down angle in there?
Yeah, can I see?
Here, wait. Why don't we?
Oh,
well,
careful, dude.
We can work on the other side of it here. Oh, there we go.
What's your question, Dr. Hare?
Well, Leo, in your neck, you can feel these muscles coming down.
Yeah.
Were your thumbs sort of on the, see how those muscles are? You can feel on your own neck, there's a muscle that comes down like that. Were your thumbs on the inside or outside or on top of that muscle, do you think?
My hands were just around the neck. And
Just
then,
around it, basically, yeah.
Yeah, and then I squeezed on the side. I felt like I knew. At first, I didn't know what I was doing, but I felt like I knew what I was doing.
You just, basically, you're putting a lot of pressure mostly around your neck.
And, yeah, like on the sides and
You can grab again if it helps you.
on the sides, and then my thumb.
Mm-hmm.
So first on the side until she passed out, and then thumb pushing down on the throat.
The medical examiner, Dr. Harris, who did the autopsy of Elizabeth Wright at the time of her death, had been contacted again to reopen the case. The detectives wanted to make sure that they were taking a recorded confession from Leo, even though the case was still solved as an overdose. Surprisingly, Dr. Harris seems to remember new details of the case after 5 years and agrees that it may have been strangulation. For the same reason he's brought in, along with a dummy doll to see if the way Leo allegedly killed Elizabeth would match the marks on the victim's neck. And if it seems as a wonder as to why a piece of evidence as obvious as strangulation was ignored at the time of initial investigation, it was not. Dr. Harris simply labeled it as marks caused by medics in order to resuscitate her.
Could you tell, was she breathing at all, or
She stopped breathing
pretty fast, or after a while, or what?
after 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Was she already unconscious when she stopped breathing? You know what I mean? You said like her eyes were open.
She was unconscious.
Mhm.
She passed out, and Well, I can't tell if she. I can't tell if she had stopped breathing before I pushed my thumb down on her throat, or it was after I noticed she stopped breathing, and I figured, I figured out that
Were you on top of her like that or to the side?
on top of her like that.
Okay. Were you putting weight on her?
Yes,
Putting weight on her?
yes.
Were your like knees on the outside of her belly, say?
She was
I
on the
was-
stair.
She was, so the stairs were like this,
Uh-huh.
and I was like on top of her. I
And
wasn't
she's
laying on her.
going heading up the stairs?
Yeah. So her head was aiming up the stairs.
And so you just started crouching over her like that?
Did you say that you were laying on her, or
I
you were
wasn't
not
laying.
laying
I
on her?
was not laying.
Okay,
You just-
not laying on her.
Your body was on top of her, but not putting weight on her.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you thought first you didn't know what you're doing, and then you sort of felt like that was the way to go? I mean, you thought that was the way to strangle her?
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't done anything like this before, have you?
No.
Oh.
First time.
First time? One thing I was wondering, she has inside she's got a bruise on her spleen, which would be there, and so I was wondering if anybody ever complained of any pain over there before, a few days before, somebody kick her or give her a knee drop or anything? So is she getting high?
We were that day.
Doing what? Heroin?
There was her crack too. I know we talked about her crack pipe.
Smoking?
Yeah.
Was she pretty zoned out on that? Was she sort of out of it in any way? I know it's been some time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember.
Well, okay. So, when people when they're strangled, they like go like that. You see any the tongue come out or anything like that?
No.
Just was regular. And she didn't really put up much of a fight or anything.
No.
Does she look scared?
Yes. She was frightened.
You think she knew she was going to die?
I think so.
Well, okay. Just wanted to talk to you. I really appreciate your letting me know.
Does that answer your questions about the position of the neck and everything? You feel
Yeah.
like you understand?
Detective's gotten the pictures.
Okay. Thank you, Leo. We appreciate that. I know that was difficult.
Yeah. Okay, Leo. How you feeling?
Anxious. Just.
The fact that Dr. Harris had mistook a strangulation homicide as an overdose is already a sign of his incompetence. Even his line of questioning is awkward. He's only a medical examiner, so we can't expect the same sophistication of a police officer. However, some of his questions are completely irrelevant to his role. In the end, Leo Driver was charged with 2 years in jail for Elizabeth Wright's murder. While serving that term, he received proper treatment for schizophrenia as facilitated by the state. And when his condition improved, he denied committing the murder and claimed to have given the confession with a deluded mind. Senior Deputy Prosecutor Dan Raz filed a motion to dismiss the murder charge after reviewing Driver statements to the police and determined the state could not prove that Leo Driver killed Wright. Surprisingly, Dr. Harris changed his statement again and agreed that the evidence after all did not support Leo as Elizabeth's killer. The system should ideally work to help the weakest members, but tragically, we have still not achieved it after centuries of law and order. There are agencies like the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, or SAMHSA, in place which have been created to house and facilitate many like Leo Driver, but the success stories of providing help have been rare. What are your opinions on the case? Do you think Leo Driver was the killer, or was it a confession made in a diluted state? Comment your thoughts below and leave your suggestions for the cases you want to see next.